Hello, everyone. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening to whomsoever it may concern. So, we are here back again with another chapter in Rukmini, the Turning of Time and Dawn of an Era. We are going to listen to chapter 19, which is titled as Upheaval in Indraprastha. So this is the 19th chapter and it falls on in part 2. Like part 1 we have finished and we have looked into one of the chapter in the part 1 and now we are going to look into second chapter. So, sorry, that was a little bit of distraction. And so, till the last chapter, we have looked into the mindset shift that Sujata is undergoing. She is out of women's quarters and she is into the real world. She stepped into the real world. And on stepping into the real world, she was having this. Fluctuations in executing the actions in a right way. Now there is Mata's help coming in internally and also from externally. With that help, she was able to slowly transform from inside, and then she was able to shift the mind uh, and execute the actions in the right way. That's called mindset shift, where you and also can be referred to as personality development, where we can with the help of the resources that is available, we can totally shift the thinking of the mind. So this phase has started in Sujata's life, and we are going to take a sneak peek on her further actions because of this mindset shift. It's not only this shift that needs to happen, but also the results of that mindset shift we have to concentrate on. Now, that mindset shift we will further explore in Upheaval in Indraprastha. And that is on chapter 19. And what is the meaning of upheaval? Indraprastha, we already know that it is a capital city of Pandavas, and they are ruling with Indraprastha as a capital, which is to till date as a capital of India. And it has been chosen with an utmost care and with a lot of concentration by Mata and Sri Krishna. And that has been centralized even at that point of time and to till date. So upheaval in Indraprastha, what does that mean? Upheaval means a sudden strong change or disruption, often causing confusion or a trouble. So this doesn't seem right. Uh, right? So this doesn't look good. What is that confusion? What is that disruption? I mean, it is harmonious until now, but there's a disruption in that harmony, and it's a change in the process or sudden shift of the process, or often causing a confusion or a trouble. So there has been a seed that has been planted to cause for the trouble and to unfold the future events as well. That is what I see when it is titled as Upheaval in Indraprastha. We are going to look at it and the seed that has been planted to unfold future events too. Now, after Sujata started changing her mind or shifting her mind towards Menaka, she decided that she has to look the things in other way, and then she started it. She started looking in that direction. If you don't think it or decide it from inside, no matter what, you can your actions will be in the same old fashion. So that's what this series of events looks to me like. So she started changing her mind, shifting her mind, and also looking the things in other way of direction. And she started attending carefully towards Menaka. And then Menaka was also like she was always fair enough to her sister-in-law. And then now that Sujata has shifted her mindset towards Menaka, Abhishek was at school, and he was able to spend most of his time in duty, because earlier when Sujata and Menaka had this strife in between, he couldn't actually spend much of time or concentrate much of his time in his duties. He was an important person in Narayani army too. Narayani army is the name of the army of Dwaraka. Dwaraka has the strongest army in the whole Akhanda Bharat at that point of time, and it was one of the strongest army which Duryodhana relied on. And then Pandavas too, they were like wanted to make an alliance with the Narayani army, because who is there for Narayani army? It's the backbone, and the support was Sri Krishna too, right? So Narayani army, they tried every means, and Duryodhana tried every way or every means to lure Narayani army and to get them on by his side, so that he can gain his hand, or he can lay his hand on Pandavas and take that authority. So, so Abhishek was able to spend much of his time in his job duties, seeing peace at his home, and Sujata was actually tending to most of the duties, where Menaka was fragile with her body, and she couldn't actually concentrate much on the household duties too when she was sick, because she usually she had a fragile body by birth, and then she fell often sick, and then this made her difficult to attend her household jobs, whereas Sujata, after shifting her mindset, she was able to take over that charge, and was able to attend to most of the household duties. And then this was very peaceful for him. So that, and then one day, Amba and Sujata were sitting together, and they were exchanging, and they were going to retrospecting the events that has happened in the past. And she was like, okay, I am good now. I can do the better. I can do better in future, is what Sujata was trying to assert Amba to. And Amba was like, okay, I see a shift in your mind and your behavior after you have visited Mata, and Mata has taken a deep care in awakening that compassion and love within you. It's not that you do not have it, but you do have, and it was submerged. Mata helped you in awakening that compassion and love. So now when those emotions comes to the surface, when you start executing that emotions, it will be more fruitful for you too, and also for the society too. So that's what they were talking about with each other. So, and again, the first step towards forgiveness is forgiving yourself. And now, Amba was also making sure that that Sujata doesn't feel bad about the past events, even though she was like she had a great guilt on her behavior from the past. But Amba was making sure that you have to forgive yourself, and if you do not forgive yourself, you cannot forgive others. So you have to forgive yourself, and that is the biggest step for the forgiveness. So, and then she was also emphasizing an important point, saying that you must forgive yourself for your anger, which arose from a feeling of abandonment. Abandonment, in the sense, so her mother left her while she was young, and she had subsequently she was put in a dire circumstances, saying that she had to marry an old age man, and her marriage was scheduled to some other person without her willingness. And then eventually Uddhav came into her life, and then that escaped. But as soon after that, she lost Uddhav, and then she was again abandoned, and she was taken care into Mata's custody. And after a while, her son was separated from her, but for a good reason. He has to work on himself to propel in his future too. And then she was left again. And then for all these feelings was accumulated in Sujata, and then there was an anger that built on her, and then so this started executing that anger, which Mata helped her in erasing that, and then awakening that love and compassion in her. So, and again, Mata was also trying to awaken compassion in not only in Sujata towards Menaka, but also towards her mother, because she also needs to think about her mother in a different perspective. She was thinking about her mother like she abandoned, but her mother has to undergo very bad things on her life, because she can't endure that. She can't stay in her family for the sake of her own dignity, where she can't be protected by her own husband. What if that person comes again to her, molest her? He had molested her in front of her son, and she felt that she lost her dignity and couldn't stay in her family. And her husband wouldn't even believe or support her at that point of time, and she chose a different path to retain her dignity. And that's what she chose. And she had to think in other perspective. Now that she know the fact of why her mother left them, she had to think her from that point of view too, and try to start forgiving her mother too. So that is the kind of love and compassion that Mata was trying to awaken in Sujata. And also the reason why Mata sent away Ishan as her son, right? It also, but and it was Amba's point, saying that Mata sent Ishan away to save his life, but Amba suspects that she also wanted Sujata to realize what it is like for a mother to be separated from her child. And this is common in all of our lives, because we cannot realize the importance of being separated with a child unless our child separates from her, like they go to the higher studies, they choose their college, their own career, and all the stuff, right? That's when we start realizing, okay, this is how it would feel for a parent to be separated with their kids. So, like how we have been separated from our parents, right? So often we will be under an assumption that, okay, why our parents will start tending or leaning towards us at the old age, and then they needs our attention. We were too busy and occupied with our own chores and stuff, because our life was very busy at that point of time, right? And it seems all nonsense to us, but the real reason or real thing we could realize is that uh, there will be the same point and a moment for all of us in our life to be separated from our kids. It doesn't mean that it's a hard separation, but it's for good. But that is also called separation. And if we were able to think that upfront, then we might value our parents' feelings too, is what I believe and realized with this statement too. So that kind of love and compassion is what we would like, Mata would like to enable in us by reading this book and by looking at this life instances from Sujata. So it is always human nature to see things only from our own point of view. But when we are able to, we must grow beyond this very limited vantage point and see things from other perspectives. That's what I've told. So Sujata should start seeing things and not only from her own point of view or from her own beliefs. Maybe with this mindset shift, she should use that shift of mind and then start seeing the real picture of the cause and effect, the real picture of the effect, which is obviously the cause. Maybe if all the humans try to figure out the real cause, then we will obviously able to understand the effect of the actions or the actions that we see. So Mata is always wanting us to see the real cause or the root cause and try to analyze or give an analysis based on the root cause. So it is our responsibility to build our mind and heart, to align on our mind and heart, and see the things from beyond picture, and then try to identify the root cause, and also from others perspective too. It might be good for me, but it might not be good for you. If suppose there are like four people in a group who are the effect of a person of a situation. All these four people will have different point of views, and it is human to judge based on one particular point of view or what you think is right. But if you are aware and if you are conscious and if you can see things beyond that perspective, that will enable your mind to have a good rational thinking. It is not like, I mean, getting one point of view and you have for example, if I believe something and whoever talks in favor of me, I can obviously look at them as my ally, and then try to get a support and come to a quick discussion, right? A leader is a person or a human. We have to develop our brain or mind in such a way that we have to have a rational thinking based on the different perspectives. That is called a real leader. It's not like you can just go by one single decision or one single feedback. You just have to think or analyze situation from different perspectives and try to see the things uh, beyond the uh, beyond the events, beyond the perspectives, or beyond the situation. Beyond nature is what is the reality behind Mata's teachings. So that is what Mata is trying to instill on us. And yeah, so we all have to learn this very, very important point. And I particularly emphasize this on this point as a key takeaway of this lesson. Thinking or maybe analyzing the situation by by taking or considering different perspectives into account. So, so for Sujata, um, obviously, to practice a compassion, obviously mending her relationship with Menaka is a good start, and then that's what Amba emphasized on, and Amba believed on, and by reading this book, we also believe that that's a good place for her to start mending. I mean, trying out to compassion. Maybe we all have a good chances in the life, and good where that particular situation might be a good start to practice our emotions, shift of emotions. Actually, it's a good way of shifting the emotions. And then one day when Menaka and Sujata were sitting with each other, Abhishek did come to home in a very hurry way, and then he started saying that okay, there was a big rupture that went on in Indraprastha. Now we are getting into the actual point where we can discuss about upheaval in Indraprastha. What is that turmoil? What is that confusion? What is a trouble? What is the seed that has been planted to cause a trouble? So there was this coronation ceremony going on in Indraprastha, and then Abhishek did bring the news to home about that coronation. So when Sujata and Menaka pressed Abhishek about the reason, he responded by stating that Sri Krishna had gone to Indraprastha for Rajasuya Yagna. So Rajasuya Yagna is nothing but it is conducted in way olden days. I mean, it's a coronation ceremony for a king to actually be installed on. To be placed on the throne. So at that point of time, Pandavas were given a capital called Indraprastha, and they have been ruling. I mean, Hastinapur was ruled by Kauravas and Dhritarashtra too, and then this section of kingdom was given to Pandavas, and then on this particular Indraprastha, Dharmaraja. I mean, we obviously call him as Dharmaraja, but his actual name was Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira have been decided as a king. Of course, he is the elder one, and there will be a coronation ceremony that was happening to be before. I mean, during this coronation ceremony, the king has to be placed on the throne. So that is called as Rajasuya Yagna, which has been organized to showcase the beauty of the newly built city. Obviously, they have built Indraprastha in a grand and luxury way because they have had help from Devtas too, and Indra, the leader of all the gods, was told that he it was told that he took an important prominent role in building this Indraprastha and making it look more luxurious. Then what happened was, um, I mean, this is not written in the book, but I'm taking this from the external sources too. Yudhishthira, the great ruler who always abides to the rule of dharma, he obviously chose Sri Krishna um, as the center of center of the coronation, which means in way olden days during these coronation ceremonies they'll give this agratambulam, which is called in Telugu it is called agratambulam, which means respecting the important person for them during that point of time. So Yudhishthira chose Sri Krishna to give that importance in that coronation ceremony, and he made him to sit as to receive that important agratambulam. Then in middle of the ceremony, what happened was it was all done, and in middle of ceremony what happened was Sri Krishna had killed Shishupala. Who is Shishupala? And it is very, very important to observe this character as it has lots and lots of connections from the past. And if I reveal this now, you might be able to relate all of the events from the past in this story. So Shishupala at that point of time was Maharaja of Chedi. Chedi is a kingdom, and he was Maharaja of Chedi, who by then at that point of time had made an alliance with Hastinapur. Hastinapur in the sense Duryodhana. Duryodhana is like always wanting to make alliance with entire kingdom to get them onto their side, so that by building their strong army they can go against Pandavas, and then he just wanted to see them suffer always. It's his own cousin, his own brother. He just wants to see them suffer all the time. That is the cruelty of his brain for no reason. Because they were happy, he couldn't actually see them happy. It doesn't feel make him feel good by looking them happy, that's kind of Duryodhana's things, Duryodhana's brain. And it is not always good, it is not at all good, not always, it's not like that, but it's not at all good for a person to build that anger and emotion upon others when uh, uh, when they see them happy. It is the love and compassion that we need to have on each and every human being, not only on our own children or our own family, but anyone around us. If they are happy, if we have that love and compassion arising from our heart, then it doesn't bother us. If they are happy, we'll feel happy too. That's the kind of the result that we'll have if our love and compassion surfaces from our heart. We all humans are instilled with all these kind of emotions by nature. It is that the time of those emotions surfaces, and how aware we are to execute those emotions is what is important to us. So if this love and compassion takes occupies majority of your emotions or your space in the mind and heart, then that's when you will start vibrating with those energies, which you will attract those kind of energies too. So Pandavas used to attract always used to attract good and good things and good people around them. Whereas Duryodhana, he used to have lots and lots of people by himself, his side, where they are useless. Their actions are useless because he used to always vibrate with the negative emotions. He used to attract a lot of negative people which look like which kind of look like mighty and powerful, but yet at the end you all know what is the result, right? It is not that mighty and powerful that everyone needs, everything or every people needs. It's the results is what is necessary. So we all know what is the result of Kurukshetra war, and who are the winners out of that war. Of course, when there's a war, there might be a mutual loss, but yet dharma has to be reinstated. It's always, we cannot afford to lose the actions in adharma way. It always a dharma needs to be reinstated, and for that, much. I mean. Uh, People can go any further. So that's what the history have told us. And and then Sishupala is the one who was betrothed to Mata, which in olden times, in the earlier chapters too, we have listened to how Mata was married to Sri Krishna. So she was actually betrothed to this Sishupala, which was decided. He betrothed in the sense decided a marriage or scheduled a marriage with Sishupala, and then Sri Krishna came in between, and then I mean, he eloped Mata too, and that's how this karmic pattern. So I'll be talking about this karmic pattern at the end, because there was a full narration of how this karmic pattern works within the world too, and in this situation too. So Rukmini, he was a close brother to Rukmini too. Rukmini's brother too. Rukmi was Rukmini's brother, and then Sri Krishna was he is also a cousin to Sri Krishna. So he has this close alliances with all of this family, but Sishupala was had made an alliance with Duryodhana, and then why did Sri Krishna kill Sishupala? that's an important fact. And he is a cousin to Sri Krishna too, and close brother to Rukmini, his wife's brother too, and then Duryodhana, Hastinapur too. So if he had killed, he would have killed him elsewhere. But why did he kill him in the coronation ceremony, in between the coronation ceremony, in such a public manner, in front of all the rajas from the region, in front of all the rajas from the region, in this so this coronation ceremony for Yudhishthira has taken place in such a grand manner. He has invited every person in and around the kingdoms to take part in this coronation ceremony. And Sri Krishna used this to kill Shishupala, use this situation to kill Shishupala in front of everyone in such a public manner. And there's already tension between Duryodhana and Pandava brothers. For Duryodhana to witness the killing of his ally at such a prestigious event in Indraprastha, when they have come as guests of Pandava, surely this will enrage him, right? Obviously, he would be enraged. He's already an aggressive person, and he is using every means to demean Pandavas and make them suffer in any way. But why does and with this incident, with what is going to happen? And there's already a tension that has been developed with all of this actions. Uh, and then it could lead to a war with every kingdom being pressured to take a side. This was all Abhishek's thoughts, and obviously the seed has been planted to take place of future actions too, right? And he was suspecting the right thing. It could lead to a war with every kingdom being pressured to take a side. If every kingdom starts taking sides, then they'll start weighing their capabilities. They'll start weighing their capabilities, and they'll be like, okay, come on, let's go fight and fight. For what reason? Because Duryodhana doesn't want to see Pandavas happy. That's the only reason. And then we were like, they were actually thinking that Dwaraka or Narayani army would be in between Hastinapur and Pandavas, because they have a lot of alliances with Pandavas too. Of course, Subhadra is married to Pandavas, and then in Arjuna, and then Kunti, the mother of Pandavas, is a close maternal aunt. She is she is a own aunt to Sri Krishna too. And then, of course, they had lots of alliances with the Kauravas too. And then this Narayani army, Dwaraka is always in between Pandavas and Hastinapur. They were already obviously a mediators to make them cool down and then calm down, and then make peace in the society. And and then Abhishek is part of Narayani army too. So wherever the Narayani army is, Abhishek will be there, and that's what is bothering Sujata and Menaka, because no matter what, Sri Krishna will always stay by dharma. These ladies are very clear about it. No matter what, Sri Krishna will always stay by dharma. And then where is dharma? Dharma is on the side of Pandavas. But if but there was already a tensions within the army, saying that Duryodhana is trying all the ways and all the means to get Narayani army on his side, and he was almost successful, because everyone in the Narayani army, the chief officials, were giving hand to Pandavas, and then they are offering their hand to Duryodhana. And then, would this cause a rift between, or a separation between Sri Krishna and Narayani army too? So, if there is a separation, if Narayani army goes to the Duryodhana side or Hastinapur side, and if Sri Krishna takes Pandava's side, what is going to happen? Narayani army is so powerful. Her brother, their brother, or their Menaka's husband is on Narayani army, and Sri Krishna is on opposite side. And then if Sri Krishna takes the Hastinapur side, if Narayani army takes this side, who will win? Because Narayani army is powerful, and they have lots and lots and lots of talent in that Narayani army, where they couldn't deny the fact that wherever the Narayani army is there, there will be a winning side. But people have to have this beyond thinking, where Sri Krishna is the ultimate ruler. And we know now, since we know the result of Kurukshetra, now we can surely come to a conclusion saying that, okay, wherever Sri Krishna is there, there'll be a that will be a winning side. But imagine if we are people at that point of time, what would our thinking might be? How would our rational thinking might be? We couldn't actually choose between Sri Krishna and Narayani army. We could only, if it is human, if it's general thinking, we would already, or we'll already think that Narayani army, wherever the Narayani army is, then that will be the winning side. So we'll all pray for Narayani army to be on the Pandava side. But in fact, if we see the things beyond the perspective, or considering different perspectives, then we might think, okay, Sri Krishna is the master strategist. He is always thinking at least 10 steps ahead of everyone. And if we at least think one step ahead, then we will realize the importance of Sri Krishna and his actions, and then the strategy that he will be using. It is not the effects or the actions or the things that how it looks like in this materialistic world that will have an effect. It is obviously the decision from the higher selves and higher purpose that will actually achieve or succeed in this human life, in this life, or in this situation, in any situation. Obviously, there's a higher purpose called dharma, reinstating dharma. Wherever the dharma is, that is the side of the success. Even it might be a human, even it might be a Sri Krishna, even it might be a Rama, everyone has to abide to that dharma, the rule of the right way of executing an action. Everyone will bow to that single word called dharma. So we have to deny the fact, obviously, however, how much powerful that it looks like. We have to deny that fact and look beyond the sequences, and then follow, think that whoever is sticking to that dharma, they will win. And obviously, Sri Krishna is in a place where dharma is. And that's what these ladies were thinking about. And several days after this conversation, Sujata needed to go to the market, and since Mahendra has been killed, she was now comfortable walking across the streets of the Baraka. And then she stayed close to the quarters and kept herself covered, because olden days they used to cover their head and walk in the streets if ladies have to go out. And obviously she used that cover. And then market was always buzzing with the news of turmoil that was rocking Indraprastha, because he was killed in such a manner, saying that someone were pleased with what Sri Krishna had done, but others criticized it too, and they were pleasers and they were criticizers to even Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna might be God to us now, but at that point of time, there were some people who looked at him as a god, as a higher being or higher celestial being. By When they realized the importance of this particular this form, this Sri Krishna form. But there were people who looked at him as a normal human being too, and then they started criticizing them too. And he had to face both sides, both sides of feedbacks, because he is in this human world too, and it's not escapable for him too. So And then there was this point of time, and to till date, we all, the listeners, even Sujata, not only Sujata, but even myself, and even the listeners, to till point of time, do you have a question saying that why did Sri Krishna use that particular moment to kill Shishupala at that such a grand celebration, to kill his old rival and in such a public fashion? Why did he choose that moment? And it is still a confusion to us, right? So there was a series of events that was revealed in front of Sujata, and then let us retrospect this question after completing this scene. So until then, do not come to any conclusions. I would want to reiterate that scenes that realizations to you, and then we can decide on this confusion. And one day, after that particular point of time, Amba did visit to Sujata, Menaka's home, and then Amba was asking Sujata if she can join along with her in her visit to one of the forests. So Sujata had never been deep into the forest, but Amba was really excited, and Menaka packed some food to them. And then they said that Amba said that her husband was gone to Hastinapur because there was this particular incident that had happened. And Amba's husband was always like he wants to go to Duryodhana, get some information and all those stuff. Because Amba's husband was a prominent chief inside the Narayani army too, and he was an immediate aide to the minister. What do we call the prime minister of that Narayani army? So I would say it's not the prime minister by role, but important chief. He is the director general of whatsoever that cadre is. So he's an immediate aide to that chief. So he would always he would that chief, he always used to go to Duryodhana to get some information or to exchange the messages secretly, which he thinks it might be secret, but it's to all knowing Krishna, it's not a secret, right? So Amba did did have some time to come and spend with Menaka, and then Menaka did offer a hand to take care of Kashini too, and then Kashini was also okay to spend some time with Menaka, and at that point of time, these ladies wanted to go and delve into the forest to see what's going on in forest, because it was always it is that thing which always made Menaka Amba happy. So she said that they doesn't have a chariot today because it was already taken by her husband and Amba. And then these ladies, they got onto the back of their horses, and they rode on their horses to the forest, and they were able to tie those horses to a tree outside the forest, and then they started walking into the forest. And then at one point of time, they were sitting, they were exploring all those forests. They were getting, Amba was like getting onto the trees, climbing onto the trees. And then this made Sujata feel surprised because she didn't see Amba in such a way. And what is that connection? We all know that in the past chapter, we did see that Amba, Sujata, and Menaka had a close relationship. They were mother and daughters. And then the elder daughter, she fell in love with other person called a person from Naga world. And then she went into that. She was married to that Naga boy, and then she was separated from her family, right? So maybe this was from her past life too, and then she was always happily going on to the forest, and then she was talking with all sorts of serpent creatures too. And then that carried from that memories have been carried along with her to this life too. And then she was always wanting to go and roam into those forests and dive deep into the forest and talk more to serpents or snake world too. And that made her feel comfortable because that was her family from the past. And and she says that when they were having when they were tired, they both sat in the middle of the forest, and then they had these snacks which was sent by Menaka too. And suddenly, Sujata saw a snake that was crawling, a big serpent that was crawling aside Amba. And then she immediately got up and bought the stick. And then she was like making her thinking that she should protect Amba. And then Amba was freely talking to that serpent. How are you? How do you do? All these sorts of stuff. And then Sujata was surprised. Who are you talking to? It's a snake. And that's the most creatures, those are the most creatures I hate of. And then Amba was like, no, 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 you shouldn't think them of like that. They are the creatures of this world and they have their life too. And if you start threatening them, or if you be a threat to them, then they'll start attacking unless you do not have to I mean, scare them away or be rude to them, is what she made them feel comfort, made her feel comfort. And then she was saying that, how do you know all this stuff? And then when she spoke to that snake, saying that my friend will is so frightened of you, please go away. And then slowly the snake was like, okay, okay. And it looked like snake was saying bye to Amba, and then she left. And then Sujata was shocked and surprised to see snake behaving like that on Amba's words. And then she asked about what is that, and she said that I think that long ago she didn't still have that past life memories. And then she somehow, maybe it's called intuition, we generally call. So it's like that. So she thinks that long ago, she says that I think that long ago I have lived among them, among the Nagas, I mean. So this we can relate to the story from the past yes, chapter, where she was married to one of the Nagas boy, and then she was living among the Nagas world. And these snakes are ordinary ones, but they hold a memory of Naga world. I have some affinity with them, is what I say, is what she thinks. And then when the snake left, and then Sujata was like, she was overwhelmed with all these things, and she said that, okay, let's go now. I don't want to stay here. What is all this stuff? And then when they started going back, they lost their way, where they came from. And then suddenly they started seeing a sight, a vision. It's not a vision, but it's a real sight in front of them. And then they both saw a lady in front of them, and a group of ladies sitting in front of them. Who are those? It is nothing but she is none other than Anjali. Anjali was one of the lady among the group of women's, and they were so surprised. What would she be doing here? It looked like a group of women who looked like ascetics, seated on the forest floor in a circle with Anjali. And then she said that, Sujata said that, okay, let's go, Amba. I think it's not, we are not supposed to be here. And then Amba was like, no, 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 Anjali, if you're seeing this, maybe we should see this, and then we should listen to their conversations too. Let us sit here and listen to what they are talking about. And they were also talking about the same thing. Why did Sri Krishna use that place to kill Shishupala, and what is the real reason behind it? uh, and then what is the real reason behind it? To everyone in this materialistic world, it looks like Sri Krishna did the wrong thing, demeaning or defaming that coronation ceremony and killing Shishupala, which might lead to an further actions, further not irreparable actions, right? What is the future holding, and what is it unfolding now, is what their question was. And to all humans it looks like that, right? But for the people who knew that there will be a deeper meanings of Sri Krishna's actions, they have called Anjali to ask her what is the deeper meaning of this particular action of Sri Krishna. So Anjali began to explain in a halting voice. It is the ending of a story that began long ago and the beginning of another series of events. And this is a fabulous thing, you know. It is a it is an ending of a story that began a long ago and the beginning of another series of events. Now it is an ending for some things and a beginning of future series of events. You are right. There is a deeper purpose behind all of the Sri Krishna's actions, but this purpose can only be known when he reveals it. Where do I begin? I have to go so far back in time. She became thoughtful and then started to narrate. So this is an important thing, whereas she takes us back into Ramayana times again, where Sita Mata has been captured by Ravanasura, is what we think. And for the people who know Sitayanam or the untold story of Sita, we should take it as Sita Mata willingly went to Lanka to resolve most of the things, karmic patterns and all those stuff, right? So when Sita Mata entered into Lanka, I would say, and everyone who knows the untold story of Sita, we would obviously refer to it as Sita Mata entered Lanka. It is not that Ravana, who is Ravana to capture Sita Mata? How can he capture Mata? No, she willingly knew what she is doing and where she is going. Okay, so Sita Mata entered into Lanka and the eventual killing of Ravana by Sri Ram. That's the main purpose, and also, uh, but and also, we do not know what led up to that time, to that soul's birth as Ravana. You may know who he was originally, because there was this killing that happened, and then what happened, why did that Ravana soul take a birth first in place? For every reason there is a root cause, right? And we all know, I mean, to till date there was we might all have listened to a story that it is the soul of Jaya who is a guardian of that Lord Vishnu, who is a fallen being, and then who has taken a series of births and created a lot of havoc in this earthly life, right? So now this is a particular important and takes us back to the source of or the root cause of this all this mysteries that has happened in this earth. So he was originally the devotee Jaya, who was cast out by Vaikunta. Vaikunta is the highest celestial realm, which is the place where Lord Sri Vishnu stays. And because of the impurity of his thoughts and the waves of disturbance he was creating in that subtle world of life, uh, and then, but what happened after he was forcibly exiled from that realm, you may not know. So, what happens why was he casted out? We all know that there is four Sanaka, Sananda, Sanaka, Sananda, Sanat Kumara. Uh, all these four people, when they came to visit Lord Sri Vishnu, and because of the impurity of the thoughts, thinking that he was in charge of that position, he didn't allow those people to come inside, go inside and worship God. If he had thought that Lord is taking rest, then he would have obstructed them. But they thought that Jaya thought that he is an in charge of that position, and he should be authorized um, uh, uh, to actually take a permission to go inside and visit Lord Sri Vishnu. So what happens when you have an impurity of thoughts? These higher celestial realms are meant to always stay in a harmony. When those higher celestial realms are in always harmonious state, then all these lower realms like earth, we have lots and lots of realms here, right? It's not only what we see. We have things that beyond our imagination, which might not be realistic to us, but yet we shouldn't deny the fact that they are not there. When these why are these called higher celestial realms, uh, higher realms? For example, the reason why I believe they are called higher realms is because there's always a harmony. There's no impurity of thoughts. Here in earth, our thoughts are always impure. We always work, we always meditate, we always gain wisdom. Why do we gain wisdom? Why do we always strive to attain liberation? It's because there's a disruption in our thoughts. If our thoughts are always pure, if our thoughts are always going in a correct direction, then this is not the place for us. We can obviously go to the higher realms. Our continuous education, our continuous wisdom, our continuous accumulation of knowledge is because to correct our thoughts. When our thoughts are correct and when the thoughts are rightful, then we will obviously go into we will obviously execute the right actions, and our judgment will be pure. Our decisions will be pure. That is why they are called higher realms. In those, and imagine a realm like Vaikunta. How much subtle, how much in that subtle world, how much it's a world of light. In that world, how much uh, I mean, impurity. I mean, how much purity a soul needs to have to stay there. If there's a lot of fluctuations, it's all, when there's a lot of harmony flowing in the thoughts in that subtle world of light, and if certain thought of impure thought enters into that flow, how much ripples that would create. And if it is created, if that ripples were created on the top level realm, how much would that create the royal lower realms? How much that would impact the royal lower realms too? It should be a standing icon. It should be a standing pillar for all of this royal lower realms too. So to actually correct that thoughts to, and it doesn't happen just like that, or just by showering a light, or just by something like that. It has to happen from inside. If you have an impurity inside, it is you who have to work on yourself, and purposefully. In Telugu we call it as a prayatna purvakanga. I use this the language a lot because it's my native, but yet purposefully we have to change that from inside with our own actions, with our own transformation from inside. It's not like who someone else or some god will come us and then with a mesmerizing capacity you can change. No, it's not like that. Even though you had an external help, it's you who have to work from inside to transform from your end. So Jaya has to correct himself, and he has to attain this position again back by transforming from inside. Then if a person has to transform from inside, he needs to vacate that position first, right? That's where this Sanaka Sananda Sanat Kumara, all these four Kumaras came here to correct to correct the thoughts of Jaya by giving him a curse and then making him practice that transformation again and then come back to his position. Now, what happened was that he was fallen, and then I'll tell you how he was fallen again. So when these things were happening, when Sri Krishna was trying to go to I mean, yeah, Sishupala, take out Sishupala. Mata was there too. Rukmini Mata was there too, and Satyabhama was also there because she also wanted to see Indraprastha, and she was very close to Draupadi too. Mata was seated back, and then she asked Anjali to keep by her side, and then Mata drew Anjali's attention within and showed her internally what had taken place in the distant past. And Anjali was able to see it all before her inner eye. She was drawn back to a time eons ago, whereas like it's eons ago, even before Ramayana, even before Satya Yuga, and then even where the root causes Jaya was actually fallen. Now, when a fallen being, when a beings from the higher realms like that have are falling because of a curse, it's not intentional falling, it's because of a curse. They had to forcefully exit out of their position and then fall onto the lower realms due to a curse. Now, when a being falls from a higher realm and takes birth in a human or asura race, their powers grow exponentially. He would be able to dominate all living creatures. So, when that soul like Jaya, he was fallen, he from into he would have to acquire this human race, human birth, and then their powers will obviously grow exponentially. He would be able to dominate all living creatures. Obviously, that's what he have done. And then it was Satya Yuga, at that point of time when he was fallen, and a time of harmony and spiritual attunement. But he could disrupt it all. Obviously he could disrupt it all because he attained that much powers of negativity. Narayani in the sense Lakshmi Devi, she knew that she would need to find a more powerful being to counteract the negative effects. So obviously if there's a negative, there should be a positive, if there's a negative ion, there should be a positive ion to neutralize it, right? To counteract that negative effects, she would need someone who can willingly leave this beautiful celestial world and take birth on among the Daityas or the race of Asuras. So he's going into the Asura world. Jaya is fallen and is going to take place birth in Asura's world. Obviously, Asura world is like, yeah, it is also a world, but it has lots of negativity. And then, when a being is fallen with more of negativity, how would it would be multiplied? That negativity would be multiplied, right? And because of a curse, and there's a curse added to it. Um, there's a curse added to it, and then when this curse is added, the negativity multiplied even more. Now to counteract this negativity effect, there should be a person who can willingly sacrifice his higher celestial realm, because they shouldn't actually fall out of curse. They should actually willingly take a birth so that they could neutralize this negative effects. And when a being fall comes to the lower realms out of their own will, then they'll obviously hold their positivity and then come will be able to come. There's no negativity that will be applied to it. That's a law of nature, right? And then their birth should also happen in asuras too, because he to neutralize that effect, if they take place birth in humans, then it is going to have different directions, right? So they have to take birth in asuras too, asura world too. Someone who could preserve the higher awareness of Satya Yuga and not let the earth spin into chaos. So they should be able to hold that higher awareness in Satya Yuga. And then Satya Yuga is obviously a higher age, where lots and lots of harmony was present, and then everyone were seeking for spiritual attainment. But in further ages, this spiritual attunement was lost gradually, and then obviously that can be resulted in dharma declining dharma execution too. But this Satya Yuga was their births has to happen to retain that higher consciousness and maintain that spiritual attainment or attunement of Satya Yuga. And she knew who to call upon, who? Narayani. She knew who to call upon, and so she went to him, the devotee most beloved to her, a high Deva, seated in a beautiful garden, absorbed in divine bliss, in unbroken union with the Lord. The most melodious songs filled the air with love and devotion. They were his songs, which sprang spontaneously from him. So he was living in a state where lots and lots of love started vibrating, and out of that love and compassion and unbroken faith towards that Lord, there's lots of songs that are coming out of his brain, his mind, and then his world filled out with lots and lots of affectionate songs towards the Lord. That's how his world was. Even before he heard the approach of her gentle footsteps, before the words were even formed in her omniscient mind, her will was known to that blessed one, and bowing low to touch his forehead to the ground, he whispered with unmoving lips, Mata, I will go. So even before Lakshmi Mata actually formed any words in her omniscient mind, he was able to capture those thoughts, and then he offered her willingly, saying that, Mata, I will go. Whatever you say, I will go. And then she stood before her and showed her the trials that he would face when he takes this birth. And he said that, okay, to serve you is my only will. The only cause of suffering for me is separation from my Lord. So he was only bothered about separating from his Lord, because when he takes birth of human beings, there'll be obviously a forgetting thing, right? Forgetting is a nature of humans. That is a boon or bane. It's obviously a good thing for humans to forget the past, so that we will propel in future. But yet, if we sometimes it can be a bane too for people like them. If they forget, if they forget about the past, that would be a separation from their Lord, is what he was worried about. So she makes sure that your union with the divine reality can never be broken. She assured him, that is why I have to come to you, to do what must be done to preserve the well-being of the dwellers on earth. and of the one we know as Jaya, for he will fall into a great pride and anger, and his wrath can cause a great destruction to others and to himself. Then she promised to be with him at every moment during his physical incarnation, as he was making a great sacrifice for the well being of so many. So she promised him, saying that during his physical incarnation, since he is willingly going to serve the humanity or well-being of so many, she promised that she can stay along with him during his physical incarnation and be by his side in every step of his physical incarnation. And so he is going to counteract the negative effects of Jaya, and then he wants to reinstate dharma. So that Deva knew well that when one takes physical birth, there is a great forgetting that the memory of his true nature would be suppressed, and he would lose awareness of the celestial world from which he had come. But his only concern was to remember the Lord. As he prepared for his upcoming trial, Narayan appeared and gave him the sacred mantra. By reciting that mantra, he could counteract many of the negative effects of Hiranyakashipu. So Jaya, once he was fallen, his first incarnation was Hiranyakashipa. Hiranyakashipa, he was taken birth in Satyayuga. The personality of Jaya had already taken. So he was already taken as a birth of Hiranyakashipa, and so he was already generating that harmful karma, harmful karma to when he has taken birth as Hiranyakashipa. Hiranyakashipa did disrupt lots and lots of things in this earth, and he disrupted the harmonious relationships between humans, and also between animal kingdom, plant kingdom, everywhere. He disrupted the harmony, and that's where to counteract that negative effects, Mata sent this person to earth. So with her guidance, he took birth as the son of Hiranyakashipa and became the one known as Prahlada. So now we can imagine or understand the reality behind the Prahlada's birth as a Hiranyakashipa son. He has to counteract that negative effects and decrease that negativity by spreading across the earth. And how did he do that? So how did he do that? So what did Hiranyakashipa do? First in place, so he conquered large portions of the earth and was worshipped as a god, but out of fear, not out of love. So we all say that we are gods for ourselves. We of course we are from that higher beings, from that one single great soul. But did we realize that God within us? Uh, it should be realized out of love, but not out of fear. And to the fact, I agree that Jaya is God himself, or Hiranyakashipa is God himself, but yet he had that fear. He is ruling kingdom or people out of fear, not out of love. The one who is fully vibrating with love and the one who is fully compassionate can be a god or can be termed as a god, but who is not vibrating with that with those positivities cannot be termed as god. But he is ruling out of fear, not out of love. He generated much fear on earth and many false perceptions of the devatas. So a god cannot obviously generate a fear. He can only generate love. He can awaken that love. He can awaken that compassion in you, but not the fear. Fear of him even entered the lower celestial worlds, but Prahalada was there to subtly remind him and everyone else of the truth. Ultimately, Narayan had to come and free Hiranyakashipa from his delusion. This is widely known, which is called as Narsimhavatara. To exactly say in English, it's called a Lion Man or the Lion King. So he has reincarnated at that as that person, and he was able to kill Hiranyakashipa and remove Hiranyakashipa from that delusion. And this is obviously widely known. What is not known is that when he lay dying, this is very, 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 very important and hidden fact, which Miss Dena Merriam is now exposing that hidden fact. Narayani appeared and lifted the spirit of Hiranyakashipa from his body as he lay in the deep state of sleep. Traversing the universe, she carried him to the distant cave where Parvati Ma was waiting. Now, Parvati Mata also stepped in. You know, Parvati Mata, Saraswati Mata, or Lakshmi Mata, they don't stay calm whenever there is something's happening, some disharmony happening. It's not like only Shiva take care of that. It is not like Vishnu take care of Vishnu Deva take care of it. They won't leave it like that, because it's their family. It is their world. They are the mothers. They are the mothers, and there is lots and lots of hidden support that was given by these two great matas to transform this earth and to align the actions in the rightful way. It's not only the Shiva's job, but it's not only the Vaikunta's job. That is why there is a famous, Sri Krishna always says, or Rama always says, those who do not know Mata, they do not know me. And Sri Krishna really emphasizes on this. Those who do not know Rukmini Mata, they do not know me well. Those who do not know Sri Krishna, they do not know Mata well. They are one, they are equal, they are one in nature. So again, Parvati Mata was there waiting for Lakshmi Mata, and these two great Mahadevis stayed with him as he experienced the darkest of realms, worlds ruled by anger, fear, and greed. They remained by his side so he wouldn't become locked in the illusions of those worlds. When they saw the memories of his life as Hiranyakashipa recede into the hidden quarters of the brain, they awakened him. Uh, but before he regained consciousness, Parvati Ma told Narayani that she would watch over him and instruct him on meditation practices so he would not be so destructive in his next birth. Then Narayani took her leave. So what did Parvati Mata tell? There was there was an English movie which mostly represents about the emotions. I think that was joy, anger. I I do not recollect that movie on top of my mind, but it's a well-known movie. If you watch that movie, it's a cartoon movie. You can watch along with the kids too. So it's combined with lots and lots of emotions, and each and every emotion has a character. Now the scenes or the actions that was executed, that will be stored as a memories, and these memories will be stored deep inside the nature, inside the subconscious mind. And once it is subconscious mind, this subconscious mind receives those memories, it will be further drawn back, like in how in our programming language we garbage collect the unused memories, right? So that's how it looks to me like this in this chapter too. All these memories that are stored inside the hidden quarters, they are being further moved to the hidden quarters, which we cannot which cannot be awakened. and they are garbage collected. Once these memories of Hiranyakashipa's lifetimes were hidden into those quarters, then Parvati Mata would help him in getting into the meditation practices, and ask Narayani to live as she can take care of him by practicing him, by making him practice more meditation practices, as he has to take two more lives along with Hiranyakashipa's life, right? Because it's three lives that he has to take, and then so he wouldn't be more destructive in the next life. He wants to have this they wants to make him less destructive, so that it'll create the effects, negative effects can be reduced a lot. And what happened to Prahlad after that time is, uh, and again, another woman responded in that group where Anjali was sitting. Sage Maitreyi once told her that Prahlad brought so much of love to the earth that he changed the way humans related to Devdas. He replaced fear with love. He thought that love is the foundation of all, the very cause of all that is, and that the Devdas have transcendent love for humankind, a love beyond anything we can experience on earth. So the love that is holding in the higher celestial realms is not what we can explain it by mouth or words. It's the kind of bliss that we can experience, is what I have understood. That kind of bliss is what they hold, and they will always shower on us. And they once they start vibrating with that, all these lower realms will also start aligning to that vibration, and then humans will obviously try to accumulate that vibration. So Anjali also smiled, saying that I always have heard Sage Maitreyi's teachings on divine love, and I do believe it was Prahlad who brought humans a taste of celestial love during the last Satya Yuga. So when the Satya Yuga was last, it was Prahlad who brought the taste of celestial love. It was he who installed this love among the humans. And I have learned that he had no interest in ruling, and released many of the lands that his father had conquered, believing that each region should rule itself. So it was Prahlad. It is the training of who is he? He is a son of Narayani. But we also have heard a different story. I mean, there's also another story saying that he defeated Indradev, and he even conquered three worlds, right? And this was a story in our ancient history too, that Prahlad have conquered Indradev and also three worlds too. And then the fact is that he conquered through love, not might. He conquered three worlds. Yes, he did conquer. He conquered through love and not might. There had been a misunderstanding about this. The devotee of Sage Maitreyi was saying that it was not that he conquered Indradev through force, but rather that Indradev was so overwhelmed by Prahlad's love that he stepped aside and allowed Prahlad to guide the heavenly worlds for a time. It is because Prahlad was vibrating with such a love, where Indradev also used his help to let him rule the world, because once the higher world starts experiencing that taste of love, celestial love, then the whole higher world will obviously vibrate with that, and then it also will have an impact with all the lower realms too. That's why he did allow him to have that positivity vibrate across the realms. So the women continued to discuss what Prahlad had contributed to the Satya Yuga, a deeper understanding of the Devtas, opening the higher senses of humanity so that they could see and hear them. We can obviously, that was the importance of Prahlad, and this is an important fact. And now it's a hidden fact, obviously. So now we will go back to the story again with Shishupala and Sri Krishna. That soul spent thousands of years under the guidance of Parvati Ma, developing a great devotion to Mahadev. So which soul? The life after Hiranyakashipa. So now, since he spent under the care of Parvati Mata, he spent thousands of years meditating along with Sri Krishna, and he developed a great devotion to Mahadev. But his love was conditional. It's not unconditional. A love always should be unconditional. But if there's a condition towards it, it is not like the pure or that of Prahlad. Prahlad has an unconditional love. If he has unconditional love towards his Lord, he will have unconditional love towards every being in and around him and in this society too. But Ravan's love was conditional towards Lord, and such is why that conditional love was still existing with him, even with when he was taken his birth, and then he has a conditional love towards everyone, and he is not equal to the God then. So he has gained mental powers and other boons from his meditations. He continued his devotions, who the Ravana. And so it was that when Narayana and Narayani took birth as Sri Ram and Mata Sita, he took birth in the form of Ravana from a Rakshasa mother and sage father, a father who was indeed very, very wise. Kashyapa Prajapati. So, I mean, he was indeed very wise. It was now the descending Treta Yuga, and he was always taking birth in Rakshasa world. Why? Because he has that power of negativity and where he could execute that power. Now he had a chance to actually come into this world with this very wise father and Rakshasa women too. He had a choice to choose between his father's way or his mother's way. And then in the Treta Yuga, the Rakshasas were growing in strength too. What happened was his mother was adept at magical practices, and Ravana quickly learned from her on how to enter and control people's minds. That is the important magic trick that he has learned from his mother, and then he used on every women around him. Of course, everyone is not being real, not living real, because he used to control them, control the people's minds, and make them work according to us, according to Ravana. So what happens was, generally there are people like who can they might not use they might not have these words, or they might not need the magic tricks, but some people might use the words, pleasing words or things, to make others work according their way. It is obviously, I would suggest them to have increase their vibration. For example, do more and more meditation so that you will not fall into the trap of others. When you have a higher frequency set on yourself, you cannot fall into the trap of others. That way you can protect yourself. You can decide what is good, what is bad, what is right, and what is wrong. So I would suggest everyone to increase your vibration, or increase the increase the meditation practices to elevate your frequency and not to fall into the other traps. That way you cannot fall into any other traps. And that is how Sita Mata protected herself, which rest of the women lacked in them. Mandodari was even more way powerful, and way more beautiful, and also way more wealthy and everything. She had all sorts of the good qualities that a woman has to have. But what did she lack? She lost that frequency. She didn't vibrate or elevate herself with that frequency. That is why Ravana was able to capture Mandodari's brain, whereas Ravana didn't even succeed at single point of time to capture Sita Mata's mind. He tried his best. He tried every way he can to capture Sita Mata's brain, which she didn't allow her because she was vibrating with such a powerful energy. That is why meditation is very, 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 very important. Those people who think that they were falling onto the trap of others, I would really, really suggest them to increase their meditation practices and elevate your vibrations to not fall into the other traps, which Mandodari lost to that, and Sita Mata didn't lose to her to that. And so, sadly, thousands of years of practice did not dissolve his pride and anger. And this time, an unquenchable lust took over. Unquenchable lust. So, pride and anger was the two emotions, even though he meditated for eons and eons, but years and years, that didn't dissolve the pride and anger, and he was born with that pride and anger again. It was accumulated from the past life. So now, due to that pride and anger, there was another emotion that has been installed in this birth. It is nothing but the lust. So when there is lots and lots of emotions that are being carried away in the human's brains, it is obviously one emotion is fine enough to have a resulting effects. If pride and anger comes, what does the person think? I know there are no other people. I'm even more smart. I am overconfident. No, there's no other person like me in this world. And with that accumulation of pride and anger, there were subsequent results, subsequent emotions that has taken place in his body. With the other emotion was lust. So with that lust, he couldn't work on that lust, and he used every means of his pride and anger to lay his hand on others people's wives. So that is the thing. When lust takes over a person, we do not know where that lands on, and they'll be targeting the women. They'll be targeting the women and people who touch women, or who touch any other another ladies without their willingness. Then that is the end of their life, or their of their, what we call in Telugu as patanam. That's where it starts the downfall of the humans or the souls. So this lust has took over him, and he was not as dangerous as Hiranyakashipa, as he would not dominate the earth. His intention was not to dominate the earth at this point, this life. It was like he has to gain lots of women around him, and he has to enjoy with the women. I mean, it is it is like he didn't want to gain over earth, which is kind of okay, but it is not okay to have or capture these women, or disrupt the families, and then disrupt the harmony between the families, and then make others people's wives to act according to him. That's not the way, and that's even more dangerous. And that's why Rama and Sita has to take birth, and then Sitama has to sacrifice herself to go to Lanka, and then neutralize the karmic patterns that he has accumulated during the birth as Ravana. thousands of years thousands of years spent in meditation on Mahadev has subdued some of his negative traits, but his pride was such that he believed himself to be more powerful than he actually was. His long meditation practice had dissolved much of his karma from his actions as Hiranyakashipa, but now he was creating new karma through his actions as Ravana. Now, lots of meditation would obviously result in dissolving lots and lots of karmic patterns. So that we have to admit the fact, we being all the meditators, lots and lots of meditators, we can neutralize the karmic patterns because of that meditation. And but he was accumulating the new karma because of his actions as Ravana. One of Sita's reason for entering Lanka was to neutralize some of those karmic seeds, as her tapasya during her time in Lanka helped to do this. So she willingly came to Lanka, and then she meditated there for longer periods of time, so as due to his effects of life, he doesn't they shouldn't be to reduce that karmic patterns. She meditated there for longer time. So her goal and that of Narayan was to prevent further harm to the created worlds and to prevent their devotee from falling into the endless pit of darkness, which would keep him trapped in a sea of delusion for eons. He had been cursed to take 3 lives on earth and to die each time by the hand of Narayan, but his actions could have entrapped him in further cycles of rebirth, if not for their intervention, such is the nature of their love. So in order for them for him to fall into the endless pits of delusion and endless pits of life births, then there will be this Narayan and Narayani has taken birth along with him to reduce that negative effects to this created world, and also to help his devotee to fall into the endless pit of rebirths. After Sri Krishna had killed Ravana, and Mata Sita was seated in deep meditation, she again left her body and lifted his spirit out of his dead form, whisking it away to the same cave where Parvati Mata sat waiting. This time would be different. As Ravana lay dying, Sri Ram had spoken loving words to him, awakening in him a glimpse of his celestial nature. Now Parvati Mata would help subdue his powers and ambitions, so that he would be far less dangerous to himself and others in this last birth in the human realm. You see all of their efforts to spare him further suffering. So this was the hidden work. They had to work on the background to a lot and lot. It's not only the cursed people that have been affecting in this situation. It's the creators itself. They are working behind scenes to actually help this world or save this world or save their devotee into falling into different life cycles and reduce the effects of this nature. Before the soul took birth again, all of his powers were withdrawn. So all of his powers were withdrawn by Parvati Mata, so that he would be no different than any other human. So they want him to take birth as a human, not as an extraordinary person, like an asura or a human person. So if he gains an extraordinary power, then he would obviously go into that set of emotions like pride, anger, and all those of negative emotions. And what are the subsequent emotions that would gain as a result of this accumulation is what they do not know. And then that's why, to reduce this effectivity, negativity, and all the stuff, they have helped him taking birth as any other normal human being. And after 1,000 years passed, he was indeed born again into the human realm as the son of Dhammagosha Maharaj, the king of Chedi, cousin to Sri Krishna, and a close friend and ally of Mata's brother Rukmini. So Sishupala was the one who was born to this particular people, and he's also a cousin to Sri Krishna. And that's why Sri Krishna kidnapped Mata in this life, in this life too, because that was a karma to resolve the karmic pattern. Because Ravana kidnapped Sita Mata from Sri Rama, and that was a pattern. And to resolve that karmic pattern, he has to kidnap Rukmini Mata again in this lifetime to resolve that karmic pattern, and that is the nature law of nature. what you take from the universe must be returned. And even gods are not a separation for this. They also has to abide to this law of nature. That's how it works. So the third person was Shishupala. The first one, after Jaya's fall has been, the first birth was Hiranyakashipa, and the second birth was Ravana, and then the third birth was Shishupala. So, you all know that Shishupala was born with a serious deformity. Now, he was born with lots and lots of deformity, but when Sri Krishna came to visit his aunt and greeted the new baby, the very moment he lifted and embraced his cousin, the deformity was healed. You can imagine how grateful his aunt was, and she showered love and all the stuff. And then, when she started showering all this love with Sri Krishna, this person Shishpala was started accumulating anger towards his cousin, and then he started abusing him a lot and all those stuff. And then Shishpala's mother begged for forgiveness, and then she said that okay, and then Sri Krishna came gave assured his mother, saying that I will excuse him for only 100 times, but after that, you will have to reap the results of your words. So you will have to face the actions of your words. Words are very, very, very important. It's not the it has more importance and weightage, so that uh, words should be chosen with care while you talk with others. That has a serious impact, so 100 times I'll give you a chance, but after that you'll have to reap the results. So this hated accumulated on top of what it was already had, what it was already was, with separating, with eloping, kidnapping, or whatever it is called as, Rukmini Mata by Sri Krishna. And when so this was all the history of Shishpala and his birth. And then what happened was, uh, and again, all of a sudden, when he was given this importance by Yudhishthira, and then Shishupala started raising in that ceremony, and then he started abusing Sri Krishna, saying that he was not this, not that, not that. Who is he? I mean, all sorts of blah blah blah. And he started pounding insults at Sri Krishna. Then what happened was, Shishupala, then Sri Krishna stood up and said that, Shishupala, remembered that 100 count, you have crossed that 100 count. And then again Shishupala starting that, okay, I don't care. And then he started insulting him again. And then he ranted. So with what happened was, he ranted and betrayed him. Uh, but then his fiery speech turned on Mata. And then once he's finished using words on Sri Krishna, he started shifting his words towards Mata, and then he ranted and betrayed him. He said that Mata ranted and betrayed him, and suddenly, with just the slightest movement of his finger, a flash of lightning flew from Sri Krishna, hurling so fast one could hardly see that bolt of light, and in a split second, the Raja was decapitated, which means his head was not in the place where it should be. His head was decapitated from his body, Shishpala's head, by his Sudarsana Chakra, by the weapon that Sri Krishna had. And obviously, he could tolerate, and if someone is abusing his wife, who could tolerate that? To Sri Krishna? No, he's not going to allow that. So he decapitated him, and then immediately Mata's spirit rose from her, and Mata was like crying about what is going to happen, because it's her own son fighting with her husband, right? But it has to be what it has to be, right? So Mata spirit rose from her body, which then slumped over. And fortunately, Anjali was by her side to protect her body and to make her sit and not to be a center of attraction in all those around. All that in front of all the people. So she drifted Sispala's body and then took that body back to the cave where Parvati Mata was still waiting, and then Parvati Mata, and then he was awakened, and Parvati Mahadev appeared in that cave, as did Narayan. So Mahadev, Narayan, Parvati Mata, and Narayani, all these four members were standing there, uh, and then filled with shame over what had transpired through his three incarnations, he could not look at them, and so with his eyes cast down, he fully prostrated himself. It was Mata who lifted him and raised his face in her hands, saying, "It is over now. The curse has been fulfilled, and Narayan has released you." Then, remembering the reason that the four saintly Kumaras had issued the curse, he murmured in a subdued tone. Remember the reason, because of the impurity of the thoughts. So I must go to find the four Kumaras, those heavenly beings, and pay homage in gratitude for what they have done for me, for helping to free me of my pride. It was as if time had been disbanded, and he was remembering something from the time in the deep past as if it had happened just yesterday. So he was talking, and because of all these lifetimes, his anger was subdued, his pride was subdued. Pride is the main thing that he was fallen because. So he was able to remove that pride. And so then he turned to Narayan. He humbly asked to be allowed to compensate for those 108 insults he had hurled at him. Let me perform as many benevolent acts, liberate that many souls from their suffering. Then, after a pause, he added, "No, 108 is not enough. For every harm I have caused, I will bring that much benefit to the created worlds. Only then will I seek to return to my celestial home," is what he took an oath. And Narayan said that, okay, this was the transformation from him after he was dead at Sisupala. He wants to create that much benevolent acts to every soul that he has created harm to. So that was his decision. And then Narayan said that, so be it. And then he said that, I'll wait for your return. And then he went away, and then they dispersed. So he said that this was the most thing, and he wanted Sri Krishna wanted to relieve him of his pride, because when he was decapitated in front of everyone in the coronation ceremony, no one could actually come in front of him, and no one could actually help him, no one could actually obstruct him, right? So that relieved the pride from him, saying that I am the great. That relieved the pride from him, and this is what he has to relieve him of in the last life, and which Sri Krishna has helped him. This was the hidden fact and hidden truth why Shishupala was decapitated in such a way, and why Sri Krishna has taken that decision in that coronation ceremony, which uh, normal humans might not understand, but who can see things beyond and understand his actions beyond the nature could obviously understand and realize the importance. So killing him before the esteemed assembly of Rajas and Ranis, before all the Maharajas of Bharat, he was freeing Jaya from the last bit of pride, from his arrogance that has now been destroyed. And yes, Sri Krishna has also just lit a spark that will now burn through this whole region, and we can only watch as the events unfold. The time of this Leela was not accidental. As I said earlier, it is ending of one story which has unfolded over vast spans of time and was the beginning of another. So that is the things where I was wanting you all to wait until the end of the story, where we can realize the importance why Shishupala has been brutally decapitated in front of everyone among the Rajas. It is because to relieve him of the last bit of the pride. Pride is the one which made him fall from the higher celestial beings to the lower. I mean, it made him to fall, and that's the reason why we are he was fallen from that world, to which created in disharmony between the thoughts, the purity of thoughts from the higher realms. That's from which he was able to transform from on his own after that, and which made Sri Krishna to relieve him of that last bit of pride, and which helped him in gaining that authority to go back, which yet he denied that ability because he wants to make some benevolent actions for the actions that he had already done or caused harm to. That is the upheaval in Indraprastha, and this is an end of one story. But due to these actions, this materialistic humans would obviously try to take that in another way, and Duryodhana felt deeply insulted because it was his own Krishna, sorry, his own friend that Sri Krishna decapitated in such a brutal way, and he already started taking things in different way, and going into an endless frustration. And where this will read, we will see in the next chapters, which series of events that will unfold in future. But this is a seed that he had planted for the future events to unfold, and we'll see about that in next chapters. And yeah, this is about this chapter 19, upheaval in Indraprastha. We will be meeting in next session with the upcoming chapters, and stay tuned for it. Thank you.